Jim Cramer was just crying on national TV. You are not going to believe the story I have to share with you today. There was just a piece of breaking news, and as soon as I fully understood what was going on, I instantaneously knew I had to share it with you because it's just that insane. It's just truly that absurd. Now, you might be wondering, what in the world am I talking about? Well, Jim Cramer was on TV offering a public apology. Yes, you heard me right. Jim Cramer was offering a public apology where he started to borderline cry, and it was all in reference to the current Meta situation, aka Facebook. For those of you who don't know, Jim Cramer has been bullish, as in supportive of Facebook. He thought the stock would go higher to where it was. Well, we just got its earnings report and they had their earnings announcement. And if you didn't know, Meta is now vomiting. Facebook's stock price cannot catch a bid. It just keeps falling and falling and falling. It is absolutely horrific. So basically, Jim was apologizing for such a bad call out. Now, I want to share my opinions on this situation, of course, and obviously I'll be sharing the clip with you. But first, just to add a little bit of framework to this particular discussion, I want to explain everything that's transpired over the past 2 days. So with that being said, let's roll the tape. On October 24th, Jim Cramer tweeted out, "The lack of respect for Meta is incredible." As in, he thought people didn't appreciate where it was currently at, and he thought it was going to go higher. And this really is par for course. He has been supportive of Meta, aka Facebook, for quite a while now. Now, on the surface level, that might not seem like much. When it comes to the world of Wall Street, it's super common to have good calls, bad calls. There's no trader and investor out there who makes 100% accurate trades all the time. But what's a little bit more interesting than this one is the fact that Meta, aka Facebook, had earnings on the evening of October 26th. Going into this event, many people on Wall Street, FinTwit, and myself included, were pretty bearish on it. Now, I can't speak for other people, but my reasoning was pretty simple. Before Facebook reported, before Meta reported, going into it, we knew Snapchat, Microsoft, and Google, all three of them missed on their earnings and their stocks reacted negatively afterwards. So it wasn't the craziest call out that Meta would also most likely follow suit. And as you're about to see, that's exactly what happened. Meta shares plunged 24% to the lowest price since 2016. As a quick side note, for those of you who might be curious about why Meta is doing so poorly right now, well, the pivot to becoming a metaverse company hasn't been going too well. In fact, Reality Labs, which is the division heading this pivot and really focusing right now on the VR headsets, over the past 3 quarters, it spent $9 billion. And unfortunately, it doesn't really have much to show for it. And on top of that, similar to the sense of getting kicked when you're down, their average revenue per user came in a little light at $9.41 when Wall Street was expecting $9.83. As you can imagine, investors, Wall Street was not happy. That's what happens when you burn more money than expected and are taking in less money than expected. It all adds up to a pretty negative, bearish situation, and almost instantaneously, we got some super hardcore headlines. Check this one out. Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg just raised a giant middle finger to Wall Street. The company says its metaverse business will lose even more money next year. I mean, that's a very tough pill for the investors to swallow. In fact, things are getting so bad that Meta has officially plunged more than $700 billion in value. And for the captain of the ship, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg, well, he has lost more than $100 billion himself, which is the biggest wealth loss by one person in history. That's gotta sting. So now that you have a bit more context, Meta has been failing and many people thought it was going to get worse before it got better, and that's exactly how it played out, which was pretty embarrassing because this whole time Jim Cramer has been bullish on it. Well, all of that leads us to this current on-air apology.
Free cash flow last year, $9.5 billion, now less than $1 billion. Okay, let me say this about this. I made a mistake here.
23. It's down even worse
I was
now.
wrong. I trusted this management team that was ill-advised. Hubris here is extraordinary, and I apologize.
That's a pretty straightforward apology. I mean, it really is. I'll explain this more in just a second after we play this whole clip, but I made a mistake. I was wrong. The hubris here was extraordinary. He said he inappropriately put trust into the leadership team, the management team, and it was misplaced. And right now, as you just saw, at the time that they were filming this, it was down 23%. As I'm filming this, it's down even more.
What did you get wrong?
I had a belief that there was a recognition that there is a amount that you can't spend. Contrast that, for instance, with Jim Farley, who took a project that was his, Argo, and closed it because it was not ready. It was not near enough. This situation is almost a rogue situation. I had thought there would be an understanding that you just can't spend and spend right through your free cash flow. That there had to be some level of discipline, and I didn't get it. But David, what did I get wrong? I trusted them, not myself. For that, I regret.
Okay.
I've been in this business for 40 years, and I did a bad job. I'm
Look,
not proud.
You're not alone.
Not proud.
I trusted them, not myself. I did a bad job. I mean, he's owning up to everything. He really is here, at least in this particular call out.
You're not alone, Jim. Morgan Stanley today downgrades it for the first time ever to equal weight, target of 105. They call it thesis changing. What happened last night?
I think that's fair. When I discussed this with my wife, Lisa, because this is all I talked about last night.
Rough night for Lisa.
And how disappointed I was, not in them, but myself. I think that's true, was thesis changing. I did believe that there would be some discipline. I emphasized to them, actually, that I expected discipline.
For a little bit more context, obviously it's down over 20% today. From its all-time highs, it's down 75%. Facebook's basically trading as if it were a penny stock.
But I want to go back again. I made a mistake, and I was wrong. I trusted this management team, and that was ill-advised. And I own that.
It happens.
I appreciate that.
You know, you have relationships with people that extend over long periods of time, and you believe what they tell you to some extent. Now, that said,
but it was horrifying. Altimeter was right, and I chose to not overlook what Altimeter said.
Well, that was just this week. That was just Monday.
Well,
right? Yeah.
Okay, you're right. It's very easy, I think, and Morgan Stanley was right to do that. But I come out here and I try to help people every day. And I failed to help people. And I own that. And was I too close to the company? I did not think the company would be as ill-advised as to spend through what they had.
Well,
without any discipline whatsoever.
As Carl said, you're not alone in being surprised by that. Many are, and that's
but
what
I don't
stock
really
is
care
gonna be
about
like.
them.
I
screwed up.
At the end there, he said, I screwed up. Now, this might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think he was truly apologetic. And I think he truly does try to help people. I know it's fun to kind of dunk on Jim Cramer, the whole inverse Cramer thing, but I don't think the guy has malice in his heart. That doesn't mean we have to agree on everything. Remember, this is the games of Wall Street. Not everyone's going to be right. Not everyone's going to be wrong. There's no way you're going to have perfect accuracy on every play, on every investment. It just doesn't happen. It's one of these things where if you have a bad call out, you do exactly that. You realize what you did wrong, and then if you have a following such as this, you say sorry and you try to just make it better. I truly believe he's like, wow, I was way too close to the leadership team, and I think he's taking that as a lesson. Like I said, I know this is a hot take. I know many people in the comments below are going to just be continuing dunking on him because you maybe for whatever reason don't seem to like him as a person. I can't really pass that judgment because I've never met him in person. I don't know what he's like as a human being. And whenever you're in the world of media, social media, it's just a little bit different. But after watching that, and I've watched it many, many times now, I truly believe that he's apologetic. And when it comes down to it, it always adds up to this. Yes, It's always good to hear other people's opinions and know where they're coming from, but it doesn't matter if they're on actual media, social media. You never blindly follow someone. You always have to do your own research, your own DD, so you have your own confidence in the play. If you're just blindly following people out there, it could lead to a pretty disastrous end. That's my opinion on it. And of course, I would love to get your thoughts in a comment below. And if you like this type of content, don't forget to hit the like button and join up by hitting the subscribe. Catch you later.